Hi, hello, hi. This is a bit of a different video for this channel, right? I don't think I've ever made like a retrospective like this. I don't know if it's retrospective. It's more like my unscripted thoughts on a game I've been playing recently. With a few friends over at the Smash Bros. Argentina server, we outside of Smash, obviously, we played other stuff. So that's pretty cool. One of the things we've been doing recently is getting into Fightcade. So I have played Fightcade on my own time. I mostly played Street Fighter Third Strike. That was way before Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, all that stuff. Street Fighter 3 was my Street Fighter before 6. But now, having these guys, we, outside of playing Third Strike, we went and played Mortal Kombat 3. But also, thanks to Fightcade, you can actually play Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Which you may know, it's a game that's not really available in any like legal way, let's say. Yeah, you can't go and buy Marvel vs. Capcom 2 like a digital store or Steam or anything. So this is probably your best way of playing MvC2. Getting into Fightcade, getting the room, getting the ROMs, and we gave it a shot, and I'm not good at Marvel. Like, I never played much Marvel. Then the most Marvel I played was Marvel 3, and even then I barely have any online experience with that. The most I played Attack Fighter is Dragon Ball Fighters, definitely. But obviously, Fighters comes close in control scheme wise more so to Marvel 3 as opposed to Marvel 2. I knew that, like, I knew the button scheme will be different for Marvel 2. I know it's technically a 4-button game: light punch, light kick, heavy kick, and then your 2 assists. Obviously, as more as we played, I realized that's technically not true. You do have medium punch and kick. It just happens to be 2 presses of your light button. So that was a bit weird. At first, I was very confused. I was like, okay, how do I play this? Like, I was doing basic things I could translate from either Marvel 3, whatever I played, or Street Fighter. I'm a big Shoto man, so obviously I saw Marvel 2. I saw a humongous roster that had obviously a lot of appeal to me. Seeing so many characters, so many choices, it was really cool. And amongst those choices, both from the Marvel and the Capcom side, seeing characters I really liked. So that's where I headed. My brain went to Ken, obviously. But I was doing Street Fighter stuff. I didn't even know what the launcher button is, because in Marvel 3 and Fighters, you do have a dedicated launcher button. 2H for Fighters and Special for Marvel. In Marvel 2, you kind of work it out like Fighters. It works like down heavy punch for most characters. Some characters do have like medium punch, like pressing 2-tap, or kick or heavy kick or whatever. But most of the time, it's down heavy punch. Once we figured that out, yeah, that was way more fun. Getting to land more air combos was definitely more fun. And the thing about Marvel 2 being 24 years old at this point is that it doesn't have all the conventions you have nowadays. So when you pick an assist, for example, it says anti-air, expansion, and all that. And if you don't know what those words mean, you're kind of shit out of luck. Mostly I went for like projectile or expansion. Expansion basically means like a combo extender. And those were really useful, those were very good, and I was very comfortable playing with those. But obviously, nowadays we get spoiled by the little things like, oh, hey, this assist is called this, and it does this. Oh, this is the skin you will have, as opposed to pressing one of the buttons and getting a random skin. That one's also, me being a big fan of blue, I wanted to get the most blue characters. Turns out it's good luck pressing the button. You can always Google it, obviously, nowadays. But yeah, going blind definitely didn't help. But it was really fun. It was really fun figuring stuff out on the get-go for all of us. None of us had a lot of Marvel experience. So it was all really, really fun. And I wanted to share a little bit of that experience here. So I'm definitely not like a pro or anything, far from it. But I do think I learned some stuff about Marvel during this little Marvel arc we had. It was really fun. It is really fun because we're still playing it. So basically, from the get-go, I was like, okay, I have these buttons, I have these assists. You don't swap characters, you don't tag characters in the same way you'll do in Marvel 3 or Fighters. You don't tag in a character with an assist button. You do it by pressing light punch and kick or heavy punch and kick, depending on what assist you want. And that was a bit weird because I am really bad at clicking the two buttons at once when I'm in like a frenzy, like oh shit, I need to swap, and I just missed buttons. I have been playing it with arcade stick. I talked about it a while ago, and it definitely enhanced the experience. Not saying you can't play with a controller or keyboard or whatever. Obviously you can. But I definitely had a feeling of, oh, this is very comfortable doing all this stuff and setting it up. It was really cool. It felt like I was in an arcade in some form, playing with my friends. We didn't have to spend stupid amount of quarters or, me standing up. So it was really fun to get into it. That's from more like the technical sense. In a more of a gameplay sense, learning the game itself honestly wasn't that bad. That you will think, oh, it's an old game. This means it won't be as intuitive. No, actually, like once I learned how to do the launcher, I was like, okay, well, I say I, but it was all of us and one guy that eventually got into the call and he was like, oh, I know some Marvel too. I can tell you guys how to do air combos and all that. So basically what he said is you should hit all your light buttons and then the heavy kick or punch, it will launch downwards. And that's when you get your OTGs, your assists, your extensions, your whatever. So that was pretty cool. It was like, he taught us a lot of stuff, but not like stuff like super complex. He was like, okay, yeah, if you get someone in the air, take advantage of your light buttons, so you eventually get the medium button and you can extend your combo. And once we were doing all of that and figuring out what character clicks with what, or your launcher, or your special move, your super, your hyper combo, your tag hyper combo, your whatever, it was a lot of fun. It was so much fun. It was insane how good this game is all these years later. All these different versions of Marvel vs. Capcom coming later, 3, Infinite. Those games are good on their own right? Obviously. But I think Marvel 2 hit this really special place. First off, like from a casual standpoint, which is basically all of us that we were playing, the amount of characters, dude. I know I touched it briefly just a few minutes ago, but oh my god, the amount of characters. I know it's basically an asset flip. They took all the stuff from the previous Versus games and they put it here. But I like that. I like that a lot. It's my own Smash Bros. Ultimate of Marvel vs. Capcom. Like, I'm not a huge Marvel guy. Like, I used to be, but not anymore. Like, now I don't watch the MCU or the shows or whatever. But seeing both the X-Men and Marvel characters alongside with a lot of Capcom characters that sadly mostly are from Street Fighter, but Street Fighter is definitely the Capcom franchise I play the most, so it checks out. Being able to do Ken, Iron Man, Doctor Doom, Rogue, Kami, Akuma, Iron Man, Akuma. Eventually, I did gravitate towards those two a lot. The third slot will usually be like Rogue or Doctor Doom, but I definitely ended up gravitating a lot towards Akuma and Iron Man. We did eventually Google tier lists for the sake of like, oh, I wonder how far we are. Pretty far. I think the one that was closest to picking a top tier was me when I picked Iron Man. I wasn't doing any of the infinites. I saw it. I googled the infinite later. It seems pretty easy. I wouldn't do it, but it seems easy enough to do. But now all of us were playing like whatever character we like, whatever character we had some previous experience with from either Street Fighter or Marvel 1 for some of us, Marvel 3 for others. So we're all like picking basically the character we wanted. None of us were like, oh, did you know Magneto, Storm, Sentinel? So it was really fun to discover a new game basically for all of us. It was really entertaining, and I want to talk a little bit about that. The experience of getting into a new game with a few friends, because I never had that before. Like, I never got into a fighting game, basically blind, right? Like we all know Marvel 2, but none of us had played Marvel 2. So getting into Fightcade, being able to connect this 24-year-old game online and learn all of it, it was really cool. And I feel like seeing the first matches we had compared to later on, I have hours and hours of footage. It's crazy. And eventually, maybe I could do like a compilation, like no commentary, no nothing, for you guys to watch our matches. I think that would be cool. The out of context series I had no commentary, so anyone from any language can watch. So it was really fun to get into. Like at first we were like doing basic stuff, and then when we got the aircom, it was holy shit. And when we got the super into super, eventually I figured proton cannon was stupid. So I definitely had a tendency for that. It was really fun, and it got me thinking. What if I make a video talking about Marvel 2? Was never around for Marvel 2, the free Marvel vs. Capcom or back in the arcades or anything. I was barely born. So getting to this now, so late, and seeing so much love for this game, even to this day, I was like, okay, there are resources for me to learn. Like, I'm not gonna sit down and learn like a professional, but at least I want to know what my character can do, right? And so I did, and so we all did. And it was really fun. It made it far more interesting. Like at first we were like laughing around because we were like, "What the fuck are we doing?" But then we were like, "Holy shit! Did you see that?" And I think that's the beauty of all fighting games, right? But specifically in Marvel, as complex and crazy and stupid as Marvel can get, it has such a amazing casual appeal. Marvel 2, Marvel 3. I know Infinite maybe didn't hit that stride a lot, but I was playing it recently due to all the Marvel Infinite conversation recently with all the mods and stuff. Yeah, it was really fun. Like sadly I didn't find anyone online, but I was playing like in training mode, being like, okay, what can X do? Character that has never been before in a Marvel game. We had Mega Man, but we didn't have X, and it was really fun. He could do a lot of stuff. It was really interesting, and that's basically I got into that because of all this Marvel 2 stuff that we were doing, learning all this Marvel stuff, playing all these different characters, doing all this wacky shit. It was really fun, and obviously we were all hopping on a call and hyping each other up. It was really, really fun. So it got me thinking, could you, person watching this video, maybe you never played Marvel, could you get into Marvel too? Yes, if you have friends, I think it's easier though. Like, when my friends weren't playing, I was like, okay, I'll just challenge whoever's in Fightcade, and the Fightcade community is very active, thankfully. So I was like, okay, I'll find people to play. They all have this. There's like this unwritten rule of, hey, don't do infinites, right? Because I could tell, oh, this guy could easily infinite me right now, and he wasn't doing that. He wasn't picking like Cable, Iron Man, and Infinite, and Laser. No, he was like playing a regular as team, just like I was. It was a relatively even match, but yeah, I think I would have had a worse time hadn't I played with my friends first. Like, if you're completely blind and you hop on 5K without knowing the other guy, maybe not so much. I think you do need to play with a few friends first, and then you can venture into the online world. But I do think you can get into it. Even 24 years later, I do think you can. Maybe some guides are a bit outdated, but usually you'll find like a 1-year-old, 2-year-old videos compared to the 2002 wiki page or whatever. Whatever weird site you find back in the day. Now you have the YouTube tutorials and all that, so those are relatively recent. And the game allows for a lot of creativity. So you could use the combos you see online to be like, oh, I can do the optimal thing. But then I feel like with all the crazy characters, all the assists per character, everything a character can do on its own, yeah, you can get away with a lot of shit. So that's also pretty fun. But yeah, I do think you, random person watching this video that I made on a whim, you can get into Marvel 2 as well. You can play casually too and have fun. If you like what you played, you can then become more of a try-hard professional, I don't say try-hard in a dismissive way, I guess. No, you can definitely become a pro in this. I think that's the beauty of Marvel. Marvel, you're like, you put the practice in, you pick the team you want, and then you go crazy. You have top tiers. Obviously, you have dominant top tiers, I guess, but you don't need to play them. Oh, I think every character has sauce. Yeah, even Servot, you can probably do some stupid shit with him. But yeah, it was really, really fun. It was amazing to play, and I love that we started playing this game. Eventually, I'll make like a compilation of all the matches I have recorded and release it like the Rocket League or the P Plus or the Smash Bros compilations I did. So I'll do that for Mortal Kombat as well, maybe, because we did play Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 as well, and that was a lot of fun too. That was a game that I had played before. I played Trilogy more than anything on the N64, so it's not the same. but at least I had an idea. Compared to Marvel, where I was like, yeah, I played Marvel 3, but Marvel 3 is a different beast from Marvel 2. Some of it did carry over, but carrying over from 2 to 3, I think will be easier for someone than 3 to 2. 3 has a lot of quality of life stuff and different changes, and obviously X Factor. That in 2, you're like, oh shit, what do I do now? But yeah, don't, if I can say anything to end this video, don't be scared of getting into fighting games. Please get into fighting games. Whether it's a new fighting game where you have all the crazy training conventions you have now, like Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, or it's an older game with a maybe more niche community, but there is a community there. Fightcade is huge. Fightcade is far bigger than you think. So please, if you're interested in like Third Strike, Marvel 2, KOF, Mortal Kombat, whatever, get into Fightcade. It's completely free. There are ways of getting the ROMs easy. Go have fun, play fighting games. Older fighting games that you cannot find nowadays. The new ones that you definitely will have a bigger player base for playing and learning. Just play them. If I can say anything from this Marvel video, go play Marvel 2. It was really fun. I'm definitely a casual, but it was a lot of casual fun. It was probably one of the most fun casual sessions I had. So yeah, well, I'll leave you guys waiting for that compilation video I'll make. This footage you're seeing right now will be part of it. It's just a small teaser, I suppose. But I wanted to share my thoughts on what I've been doing when I'm not streaming or recording or whatever. I was just really compelled by Marvel 2. It's a beautiful game, and I hope we see it eventually on Steam. A more official way of playing it. Maybe the online will be better. Maybe we could have lobbies. Maybe whatever. I hope so. I really do hope so. But yeah, I'll leave you guys with this little video. I'll be teasing the compilation for you to see 3 or 4 people that don't know Marvel playing together and having a good time. And yeah, I'll see you then.